Sometimes 10 seconds of patience will save you a lifetime of misery. 10 seconds. Let the guy go. Relax. Everything in your life is okay. All right, it's Monday at 11 o'clock. We got a new episode here of the Chazz Palminteri Show. We have a lot of great things to talk about, folks. It's getting closer. Right, John? June 13th. June 13th is going to be a hell of a day. The beginning of DeNiro Con, the end of the Tribeca Film Festival. There's a day right in the middle, just before the start of the DeNiro Con. Well, actually, my movie is the start. And that is, I made a movie of the original one-man show. The show that you've been seeing all these years, for the past 30 years, me doing all over the country. I wrote and directed it. I shot it with 5 cameras. It's an incredible thing to see. If you thought you saw it live, where do you see it on film? Pretty amazing. John, we're going to do it at the Indeed Theater. Is that correct?
Indeed Theater at Spring Studios.
At Spring Studios in Manhattan. That's New York, New York. On June 13th, we're going to do a Q&A afterwards. People are going to ask questions and see how this whole thing happened with A Bronx Tale. But also, if you'd like to see it live, go to chazzpalminteri.net. In the meantime, John, where am I going to be?
June 7th and June 9th, you're going to be in Beverly, Massachusetts at the Cobat Theater.
Yep.
June 15th, you're going to be in Morristown, Connecticut at the Mayo Performing Arts Center. And June 23rd, you're going to be back in Huntington, New York at the Paramount Theater.
Oh, I love the Paramount Theater. I love all these theaters. It's so much fun. So, also my restaurants, Chazz Palminteri, on 30 West 46th Street and 264 Main Street in White Plains. My cigars, I was very proud of my cigars. We came in number seven in the world of brand new cigars. Great cigar with Paul DeSilvio and myself. Just a great cigar. Also our wine. We put our Cabernet wine together, me and Paul DeSilvio. A great Cabernet. I mean, look, here's what I always say, folks. People will come to my restaurant, they'll buy my wine, they'll smoke my cigars once. If it isn't great, they're not going to do it again. So it took 3 years in the making with the cigars and 3 years for the wine. My restaurant's been around for 10 years, so you know you got great food there. So I always say, if you're going to put your name on something, it's got to be great. So this episode today, we're going to talk about the 7 deadly sins. Wow. I get a lot of people that keep contacting me. So why don't you talk about, I like to do the great book, The 48 Laws of Power, one of my favorite books, Robert Greene, great writer. And I said, the 7 deadly sins, that's a good one. So let's get a street version of the 7 deadly sins. So, John, the first one is what?
First one we have is lust.
Lust. Come on, folks. You're out there. Think about it. How many of you have gotten into trouble because of the word lust?
Now it's easier more than ever with online dating.
Online dating, it's like Facebook. You got girls that you haven't spoke to in 30 years. Now they're divorced. They're looking for somebody. They see you and you see them. You're divorced, or maybe you're still married and you start talking to an old girlfriend. Oh my God. Or she starts talking to an old boyfriend in high school and you still look at them and you get lustful. And how many times you try to be faithful and, lust is big.
Well, you just go off of looks, especially when you see people's profile pictures.
A friend of mine, Chris Rock, who's one of the great comedians, Chris used to say, you're only as faithful. I'm probably messing it up. You're only as faithful as your opportunities. So if you have more opportunities, you're less likely to be faithful.
That's dangerous. And then also celebrities don't help either.
That's true. Being
Yeah,
a celebrity, oh, that's hard.
you look at a celebrity's profile. I mean, everybody's a 10. They're always doing the most fun stuff that you'll never think you'll do in your entire life. So there's a
Yeah,
lot of lust to be left there.
lust is, you know what they say? It's better to be in love than be in lust. It really is. Hotness, lust will get you in trouble every time. You lose your fucking brains. Lust is something where you lose your brains, you lose your mind. You lust for this woman, she lusts for this guy. He's willing. Listen, that's where the crimes of passion come in. What do you think? People kill, go to jail for life for lust. Think about that. A woman wants to be with another man. She contacts a guy and see if she can get somebody to kill her husband. Or same with a man. A man will hire someone to kill his wife because he wants to be with this person that he loves. Wow.
All right, next one we got is gluttony, and that should be a fairly easy one.
Gluttony. Wow. I mean, does gluttony just pertain to food? No, anything. Food, drink,
Electronics,
electronics. I guess too much of anything, right?
any kind of consumerism.
Yeah. I mean, chocolate chip cookies, anything. you know, I mean, when someone just overdoes it. I mean, you know when you overdo it, right? You know when you eat too much and you just have to get up. The worst thing people do, especially Italians, is they eat all this food. Then they open up their belt and they go sit down and watch football or something. That is the worst thing you can do. You know, they just proved the point that you'll live longer if you eat and then just walk, even if you just walk around the block a couple of times. It's amazing, right? I mean, not like a big walk, 20, 30 minutes. No, just go for a 5-minute walk. That's it. It's true. You feel better after that, you know?
Well, I also feel like this day and age, they make it so easy to be a glutton. I mean, you could go to a fast food place 3 times a day, every day if you wanted to.
Right.
And it's very cheap too. So they make it super easy.
You know, did you ever see photos when you get a chance? Not even film reels, newsreels from the '60s, from the '30s, '40s, '50s, '60s. Watch newsreels. Nobody's fat. You think I'm kidding? I am not kidding, folks. Look at newsreels from the '60s, especially. Nobody's fat. And you say, how could that be? You know, once all of these fast food chains got in, processed foods, foods in a can and packages and cereals, man, we've been hoodwinked.
Well, same could go for electronics too, because new iPhones come out every year. You can spend hours on TikTok and Instagram. I mean, you could just have too much of anything at ease right now.
Like gluttony. You could waste your life. Seriously, I would like a study. I mean, they have to have the numbers. X amount of hours you spend on the internet and add those hours up at the end of your lifetime and see how many years you just wasted. Wow. Okay.
I feel like this is one that we're seeing now more than ever, and this one's greed.
Who came up with the seven deadly sins? Do you know?
I don't know particularly, but it did originate. I'm pretty sure from the Bible or
From
Christian
the Bible.
teachings.
It has to be from the Bible. One of the disciples probably did it. Greed. Think about it, folks. It's perfect. Greed. If you're greedy about anything, about money, doesn't necessarily have to be money. Greedy about food, about drugs, alcohol, just being greedy, just wanting more than anybody else has. Automatically, when you're greedy, that means you can't share. You can't give of yourself.
Well, think about all these big corporations that are being accused of corporate greed right now. You're getting less for more.
Corporate greed.
They're shrinking Snickers bars.
I'm going to give you less and I'm going to charge you more. Somebody help me here with this.
We're seeing that now a lot. They call it shrinkflation. It's pretty much greed.
It's all greed. Decaf coffee. It always wonder, wait a minute. You're taking the caffeine out, so I'm charging you more. Wait a minute. You're taking something out. Why do I have to pay more? You would think decaffeinated coffee would be less. No, it's more.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. Corporate greed, but not just corporate greed, individual greed.
Yeah, I mean, it could go all around. Next one's pretty interesting too. I mean, sloth, procrastination,
Wow. Laziness.
laziness.
I mean, if you just didn't do the 7 deadly sins, what a happy life you would have, right?
But it makes it so easy to do them.
Procrastination. Let's talk about that for a second. How many of you out there said, I'm stuck in this relationship. I'm going to get out, but I know soon. And then 10 years go by and you're still in the same relationship. You're stuck in a bad marriage. Look, I know there's things involved, there's kids and money, but if it's really that bad, you have to get out. You can't procrastinate. Because when you procrastinate, you have decided to make no decision. You have decided to take away the one main thing that you have left, and that is hope. When you take away hope, you have nothing. Zero. When you procrastinate, it's like stopping. It's being frozen. Sometimes a bad decision is better than no decision because you have decided not to decide. So you're just stuck there. Even if you make a bad decision, sooner or later you'll correct that, but at least it got you out of that insanity of procrastinating about where you were. I think that's a bad one.
Yeah, but it's an easy one to fall into.
Yes, we've all been there, myself included, but you got to get out of it.
So the next one that we have, and I have two great examples for this one, is wrath. And you can think of people being angry online or political polarization. I mean, right now I feel like the world's feeling a ton of wrath.
You know, John, when you feel wrath, when you feel that anger, always remember this: nothing good ever comes out of anger. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. Sometimes when I get really up, if I'm upset about something, and think about how wrath could end your life. How somebody you're driving, you're in a bad mood, guy cuts you off, you get to the next light, you follow him, you start screaming at him, he starts screaming at you. You get out of a car, he gets out of his car, you hit him, you punch him in the face, he falls down, cracks his head, and dies. Happens. I'm not saying anything that's so like, oh, that could never happen. It happens all the time, folks.
Well, you made a movie based off of it.
That's right. All the time. Sometimes 10 seconds of patience will save you a lifetime of misery. 10 seconds. Let the guy go. Relax. Everything in your life is okay. Scream and yell, rage. Get out of the car, hit him, he hits you, you're injured, you injure him. It starts a chain of events. Anger. That's wrath is bad. Is bad. I think we got one more, right?
We have two more left.
Okay.
The next one's envy, and I feel like it's very close to lust, but it's definitely different in a way. But the examples that I have for envy coincide with social media and celebrities.
Well, envy. Let's break it down. What is envy? See, envy is like it's like I'm jealous. I'm jealous of what you got, and I want that, but I don't want you to have it. That's weird. You know, I could be happy for somebody's success and just say, all right, Chaz, wait your turn. It'll come. And I think I talked about this on another podcast once. Some people look at the world like it has 5 slices. And if Chazz Palminteri just got a slice, there's only 4 left. And they're envious of me because there's 4 slices left and Chaz has got it. He's got one of the slices. Other people, like myself, I always looked at the world that it had 500,000 slices. That if somebody gets a slice, I could always get my slice. What am I getting envious about? Envious, the beauty of life can't, I talk about this, like we're all made up of an energy. The atmosphere is made up of the same energy, folks. Okay, you can look that up. We're all made up of the same energy. And when this energy is pure, when your heart is pure, that energy flows through you and you receive all that good energy. But when you're envious, you're like a fist, okay? And a fist, the energy comes and bounces off it, bounces right off it. And you get these people that say, I never caught a break in my life. I hate life. Life sucks. I never caught a break. You know what? They never caught, there were breaks. They just didn't see it. They didn't see it coming. They were so envious of other people that they didn't see their own success. So I know it's hard. I know when you're not doing well and somebody does really well, we all get a little jealous, a little envious sometimes. Everybody does. But the idea is when it comes, is to recognize it, say, wait a minute, relax, my time will come, wish this person well. Wish him well. It's a good thing to do. And the more you wish them well, the more that good vibes and good energy and success will come to you. But the more you hate them and you're jealous of them, when you want to keep somebody down, there's a rule that when you got to hold them down, you have to be down there with them. And it's nothing. Nothing good comes out of envy, folks. Nothing.
Well, we got the last one coming up, and that's pride.
Wow, pride.
And I'm wondering, is there a difference between pride and self-esteem? I mean, they sound very similar, but I mean, what's the downfall of pride?
Oh, pride's different than self-esteem. I mean, pride is like you do things because of your pride. You don't ask for help because of your pride. You pontificate or you brag because of pride. And that's terrible. I always tell people pride, look, we all try to we all want people to perceive us in a certain way. And you have to give that up. Once you're comfortable, I call it being comfortable in your own movie. When you're comfortable in your own movie, don't worry about pride. And I know that's hard to hear, but so many people have suffered and died because of pride. Because somebody called them out or yelled at them in front of their family, and they were so prideful that they didn't want their wife to see them like this, that they knew they shouldn't do this. But because of pride, they jumped out of a car or hit somebody or they had too much pride to admit that they were wrong and they ruined a relationship. Pride is a bitch, man. In fact, you should always give a person room to save face. When you are arguing with a person and you don't give them room to save face, then they get very prideful. They get very prideful, and usually the relationship is gone. Gone. Because how many times have you heard people say, I ruined it, man, because of my pride, because of my pride? How many times I've seen that? So these seven sins, I wanted to do an episode on these seven sins because I just thought it'd be something to reconnect with, you know, to reconnect to people out there. Because when I read them over again, I was like, huh, yeah. And ideas came in my head, and I said, well, that makes sense. Am I being too prideful here, or do I have the wrath in me right now, or is this lustful, or is this right, or is it lust taking over my logic? Look, lust like I said, is a strong thing. Too much pride, gluttony. Am I overdoing it now? Sometimes you have to ask all these things. I think when it comes to all the seven deadly sins, is when you're doing one of them, sometimes you don't know you're doing it. I think when you're doing it, you have to ask yourself one question. Well, actually, you could ask two questions. It matters your belief. Is this decision bringing me closer to God or farther away? Or is this decision bringing me closer to my goal or farther away? And if the answer is farther away, you got to realize you're making the wrong decision. You got to know that. Knowing it is one thing, making the correct decision is another. Have you ever made a stupid decision knowing that it's bad? I have. I always say I'm just like everybody else. I'm a work in progress. I knew it was bad to do. I knew this was going to hurt me. Full disclosure, I was very young at the time. And I knew it. But I did it anyway. Who said that? Mark Twain, Benjamin Franklin? Youth is wasted on the young. You know? But that's the idea of growing up, folks. When you grow up, you know something's bad and you say, no, no, I am not going to let lust take this over. I'm not going to let wrath take this over. I'm not going to let sloth take this over. I'm not. I'm not going to let pride or envy or any of the seven deadly sins take it over. I am in charge of my own mind. Marcus Aurelius, when you become master of yourself, then you achieve the greatest thing a man could achieve. Master of your own emotions. This is Chazz Palminteri. Don't forget, ChazzPalminteri.net to see the original one-man show live. If you want to see the film, which is a whole new experience, that's June 13th at the Indeed Theater in Manhattan, New York. That's at 7 p.m. There's going to be a Q&A to follow. John, how can they get tickets?
They can go to tribecafilm.com or they can just Google A Bronx Tale, DeNiro Con, and it should come right up.
Get tickets because there's not a lot left. So get them soon, folks. Don't forget my restaurants, Chazz Palminteri's Italian restaurant, 30 West 46th Street, 264 Main Street. Don't forget Sunday nights in White Plains, Main Street, we have pasta night, pasta day, pasta all day. You know how it was Sunday, gravy, pasta during the day. I'm there a lot. We have great times. A little olive oil, a little bread, a little Parmigiano Reggiano. It's a great time. Sundays, pasta night at Pasta at Chazz Palminteri. Sunday pasta at Chazz Palminteri's. Okay, God bless you, and I will see you next week.